Wars like starts up when I talk too long, and it's like, maybe drown him out. Feel free to do that to me if I go too long. As I've already introduced me, I'm Christy Strickland, and I have now almost officially survived the Johnson Intern Program, which I'm very proud of. The overwhelming feeling I had, about a year ago, spring semester of my senior year of college, was that I was totally sick and tired of myself. All I was thinking about was, what can I do next that'll make me happy, that'll be comfortable, that'll be convenient, and I really was just tired of myself and my own desires. So I started to ask myself some questions. I knew I wanted to be someone who creates and gives rather than just takes and consumes, but I didn't even know where to start with that. I had some grand ideas like go to a village in Africa, maybe feed some hungry kids, ride a cheetah or a giraffe, take lots of pictures to show the folks back home. Everybody could see how nice I was. I went to Africa. But I didn't get very far with that. I'm not an activist kind of girl. I've lived in the same state my entire life. Not that much of a risk taker. So I started to look elsewhere. But those unspoken and unanswered questions in my heart were really getting harder to ignore. I was beginning to realize exactly what was missing, but had no idea how to incorporate issues of justice into my life, particularly how to do it in a way that would protect me from completely disrupting everyday life as I knew it. So I started praying for God to show me a way. I understood that my unbearable frustration I was feeling might be God's answer to my prayer. God used the discontent in my heart to open my eyes to what it was I needed to do. Fast forward to North Carolina, where we are now, just to make sure everybody's clear. Okay. Of all the placements, park organizations that I could be assigned to, there was only one that terrified me, and that was the Family Violence Prevention Center. There were many scary aspects of it, including, but not limited to, public speaking at Orange County and Chapel Hill Carrboro High Schools, where I got to talk to a relatively hostile audience of high school students about dating violence, which is always a crowd pleaser. Also, I had to work on the hotline, where a call can come in at any time of the day or night, and you have to be the one to answer the question. And most frightening of all, probably, was being confronted with my own fears about the violence and ugliness that are in the world that we live in. I knew that I was going to come face to face with that, and it scared me a lot, to be quite honest. So, since I insist on learning every lesson in my life the hardest possible way, of course, I was assigned to Family Violence Prevention Center, where I've been for the last 9 or so months. When I came face to face with these suffering people, I started petitioning God to come and do the God thing and save them. And I kept waiting. Didn't really see that happening. So I decided that while I waited, I would just do what I knew how to do, which wasn't that much. But I could sit with someone, listen to them, let them pour their heart out. I could sit in the kids' room and color with a kid while their mom made some phone calls. I could leave encouraging notes on the desks of my coworkers. Stuff that I've always done, and I just kept doing it, not knowing really what I was doing at all. God invited me through my work at SETC to extend my seeing beyond the convenient labels and judgments that I had. There's always more to it than what I can see. That's what I've learned this year. That what I'm seeing is not the whole picture of what's going on. I'm relieved to know that it's not just the responsible and organized people that God uses to co-create. Even the people like me, who leave their room a mess, Amanda, she's my roommate, people who get lost, don't turn their library books in on time, even they can be partners with God in co-creation. Living in community was so hard and so necessary for me. I love thinking about how the 7 of us, who were strangers, came together, moved into a house, shared bathrooms, and that was just the beginning. That was just living together. Community was what we made alongside each other. sometimes it was painful for my ideas and attachments about what community is and who I am to be burned up right in front of me. Ways of being that I had never questioned in myself or others began to burden me. Thanks to our bonding boot camp, also known as the opening retreat, we were able to have a kind of shared language and safe environment to open up to each other, and it continued to serve us well as we grew into our community. Now, I would like to share with you a small piece of what I created with the friends in my community this year. With Amanda, I created the bedroom that we share, has 2 twin beds, all of our beloved books, and decor courtesy of the PTA thrift store. Little shout out there. Lots of good furniture. With Jessica, I created long car rides to our home state of Georgia, where she is now, and back again. We had conversations that were both silly and serious. With Anne, I created the ACE cooking team that brought you the popular taco night, among other gourmet meals. With Hannes, I created an alliance of community members who lobby for more junk food to be added to the grocery list. With Will, I created a friendship with someone very different from me, with whom I share an irreverent sense of humor and a love of fluffy animals. With Trisha, I created a deep bond that can be described no other way than soul-enhancing. With Matt, I created a weekday morning tradition of talking about life while we enjoyed our respective favorite beverages, chocolate milk for him and Diet Coke for me. I hope that as I continue to look for my place in the world, that I will remember the special gift of being a co-creator with God, and that I will be unyielding, unrelenting, and listening for the voice that calls me to join him in making dreams become real in this world. It might be uncomfortable. Actually, scratch that, I know that it will be uncomfortable. And I can assure you that I will be nervous, probably even a bit nauseous, as I was tonight, the entire time it's happening. But it's not because I'm the smartest, or the bravest, or the most spiritual that God calls me to be a co-creator. It's because that's who He created me to be. Thank you.